Hey there guys, welcome to the meat shop. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the sweet and spicy Thai snack stick from scratch. I'm going to give you the recipe, the process and all that stuff down below, as well as in the video. And you guys will be able to make this at home without buying prepackaged stuff right from scratch. So, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe and we'll make some sweet and spicy Thai snack sticks. Okay guys, this is the sweet and spicy Thai snack stick. I like this one. It's got lots of flavor. I'm making it out of pork today. You can blend it. I've done it, like I said, maybe with all sorts of different things. We've done it with venison, elk, moose, deer, pork, beef, and combinations of those. It would also work fine with chicken because chicken takes on flavor really well. I'm using a lean ground pork. Lean as in it's 15% fat, 85% lean meat. I don't like going too much leaner than that for any sausage you're going to smoke. It's hard to keep it moist. At the very, very minimum, 10% fat, because otherwise it's just dry and crumbly and kind of sucks. So I'm using lean ground pork, so that's 85% lean, 15% fat, like I said, and you can get it up to 30. You can have up to 30% fat in there without running into too much problem. After that, you run into some texture problem. It's harder to get that texture to have that nice firm snap when you're biting your snack sticks when the percentage of fat is higher than 30. So this one, double ground. First ground was a 3/8 plate, 8mm, and the second grind is a 3mm, 1/8 plate. And that's what we ended on here. I did that ahead of time, obviously, so you guys didn't have to watch me grind this stuff. The equipment you need though, if you can buy the ground pork or ground beef or ground venison from your butcher, done up for you ahead of time, and then all you'll need is a sausage stuffer and work area, a little bit of stuff to weigh out your spices at home, which is fun. My favorite part of the process, actually. This is a recipe that I made up myself, and I'm going to share with you down in the comments section below. So, the sweet and spicy Thai. It's well, I'll just go through the ingredients here and then you'll kind of know. It's salt at 15 grams per kilogram, chili flakes at 6 grams per kilogram, which is a little bit on the high side, but you want it to have a little bit of heat. Garlic, 4 grams per kilogram. Ginger, 2 grams per kilogram. White sugar, where the sweetness comes from, 10 grams per kilogram. Vinegar, 10 milliliters per kilogram. Milliliter is the same as a gram. People ask me that sometimes. You can have 10 grams or 10 milliliters of vinegar per kilogram. 90 milliliters of water per kilogram, because you want to end with about a 10% moisture addition to most of your sausage blocks, because that's basically what evaporates off during the cooking process in your smokehouse. So that's water at 90 milliliters per kilogram, which gives you 10%. Then we have binder. I'm using soy protein binder. You can use whey. There's Carrageenan binders, there's mustard binders, there's all sorts of binders. So long as it's protein based, you should be good to go. We're using Cure number 1 at 3 grams per kilogram, and sodium erythorbate, which is a Cure accelerator. You can also be sub it out with ascorbic acid at 0.5 gram per kilogram. So yeah, the spices in there that kind of make it Thai is the chili flake, garlic, ginger, and vinegar combination. Not necessarily always vinegar, but in Thai cooking, lots of times you see those 3: salt, chili, garlic, ginger. I'm using just white vinegar today. You could use rice vinegar. You could add in all sorts of different. You can go wherever you want with this, but that's kind of just the basic sweet and spicy Thai flavors that you kind of stereotypically experienced over here in Canada. So I have mixed them all up ahead of time for my 1.5 kgs of ground pork. So I just multiplied all those numbers by 1.5 to get my spices, weighed them out on my gram scale, and we will mix them in. It smells good. I can smell the ginger and garlic. Then I'll measure out my vinegar. When you're adding vinegar to a sausage, vinegar denatures the protein in meat. If you were to look at this on a microscopic level, there'd be little fibers at the end of every sheared off piece of meat that they attach to one another during the mixing process, and that's called protein extraction. Vinegar denatures protein, so it makes it harder for those little tentacles or little muscle fibers to reach onto one another and connect again. So you don't want to use too much. I don't usually recommend using more than kind of 10 milliliters per kilogram. You see it sometimes in chorizo or a boerewors, but I usually like to use it at 10 milliliters per kilogram, and you do not run into any texture issues. Perfect. There's our 10% moisture, and I'll add that in once I get these spices mixed around a little bit. You guys don't have to stick around to watch me mix spices, because that's boring. Basically what you're trying to do though is distribute the spices evenly into your meat block, then add the water and continue mixing till that water, spices, binder and salt all stick together, and I'll show you when you have enough protein extraction. Oh man, this one smells good. I love this one. Got those seasonings evenly distributed, I'll add that water and then carry on mixing. All right guys, I've been mixing for a little while and it's kind of turned into a block of Play-Doh. But you grab a handful, when it sticks to your hand, you're good. Then I'm gonna load it into the smokehouse. I'm gonna stuff these into these guys here. These are collagen casings and they're pre-dyed. It's called a mahogany 22 millimeter collagen casing. You don't need to soak these, none of that. They can just go right on the horn and get stuffed. They don't have smoke flavor in them already, so when I put them in the smokehouse, I'm gonna add a smoke cycle. But when we stuff it into the sausage stuffer, you wanna get your little meat block, and you wanna get it stuffed in there good and aggressively, and that kind of helps force, doesn't eliminate air pockets, but it helps force them out. So I'll do that, and then we'll bring you in for some sausage stuffing. Okay there guys, and you guys, if you've seen any of my other videos, these guys don't need to be soaked. They can go on dry. I kind of just rip the end on a bit of an angle so they can get slipped onto the horn. If my sausage stuffing horn was a little bit smaller, that whole thing would just sleeve on there, but I have to feed it on. So I feed it on like this, get ready to stuff. And it's same as always guys, when you're stuffing, you just let the first little bit come out of the sausage horn. And by applying pressure right here where the horn ends, that determines how full your sausage casing is. Depending on what type of sausage you do, whoops, depends, I'm gonna tighten that up. Depending on what type of sausage you do, depends on how full you get the casing. If you're doing natural hog 2932s or something like that, you wanna let them have a little bit of give. But these guys can be quite full. I mean, it's just got just a little bit of give. And this isn't gonna be a very big batch, guys. We're not gonna get a lot out of this, just mostly enough so we can get a taste and I can show you the process, share the recipe with you. If you guys make it at home, let me know. I wanna know how you like it. I like reading you guys' comments, so. Okay, here we go again. Just pull a little bit over the end of the horn till it starts coming out, and then you're off to the races. Actually, that's got to be the end. Not very much in there. Oh, that's the end. Okay, guys, now I'll show you how I cut them to prepare them for the smokehouse. Okay, guys, so now we're going to prep them for the smokehouse, and I hang mine. And the key, if you want to do it like me, the key is when you're doing it in your smokehouse is you want to have them just a little bit up and away from the heat source. My smoke sticks just happen to work out to be the perfect length. So I take the pepperoni, starting at the bottom, come up to the top, and then back down to the bottom, and I cut it, and then I hang those lengths over top of the smoke sticks. Then I smoke the sausages, and we cut them after they've been cooked. Oversized knife. So if that makes sense, you see me do that there? I took one, started down there, came back down, so it was the length of my smoke stick, and now I'm gonna hang that on the stick like so. So these are spread apart and air can circulate all the way around them. Cook them in the smokehouse, take them out, cool them, and then cut them into the lengths that I want. If you guys wanted to, with your sweet and spicy Thai snack sticks, that's a tongue twister, you could take them, pinch them, go to the next one, pinch whatever length you want, and spin 3 times. And then they would pre-done for you. I find smoking them in lengths and then cutting them to be much more efficient. So that's what we do with all ours at the shop. But see, now you got your lengths all pre-done. All right, so guys, I'll just cut these. That's close enough. And we will stick them in the smokehouse, and I'll give you all the smoking steps next. All right, guys, so we got the snack sticks loaded in there. And as you can see, we keep them evenly spaced between each one. That allows the smoke and heat and whatnot to circulate between them. And if we look at the bottom here, I always keep them just a little bit off the top of where my heat source is coming from. I got my heat source is a smoke pan down below, and you want to keep them just above that so that the bottoms don't burn. But the key is to just spread them out like so that air circulates around them. And then we'll take them through the couple smoke steps. Step number 1, drying. We're going to dry them off the outside a little bit so that the smoke adheres to the sausage casing a little bit better. They're already tanned, but when they come out of here, they're going to be even deeper, darker, mahogany brown color. Step number 2, smoking. I'm going to hit mine with hickory smoke. It has an antioxidant effect, which is good. You can use whatever you got though. If you want to smoke these with apple or pecan or whatever you got, works fine. Then we're going to do a cooking process. So I'm going to close the dampers just about all the way at that point on my smokehouse. And we are going to cook them at 185 degrees Fahrenheit, 190, until the core temperature of these guys reaches 161, 72 Fahrenheit, 72 degrees Celsius. First step's going to be an hour, second step's about an hour and a half, and third step's also going to be about an hour to get them up to that temperature with lots of humidity so they don't dry out. So I just take my probe and I go right into the middle of one of the big pieces. So I'll get that set up and I'll bring you guys back in for when they're finished. All right, so the smokehouse went off, which means they've hit 161 Fahrenheit or 72 degrees Celsius. And there they are. See how the color got deeper and darker and you got just a little bit of a wrinkle on them? That's perfect. Thermometer inside the middle of the biggest sausage, so that means they're ready. And at this step, sometimes I get questions on if you should water bath your pepperonis or not. If you're going to do that, make it super quick and then hang them back up to dry. Otherwise, you're going to have the casing separate from the sausage and you'll have water that slips underneath there. So just give them a quick rinse and then hang them back up. It's just like a quick dunk. What you're doing is you don't want to cool them right down to zero. Is you just want to get them cooled. You want to stop that cooking process. So if you're going to do it, just do it quick because they're very small diameter. It doesn't take much. But I'm just going to put mine in a tote and pop them in my walk-in cooler overnight and package them up for you guys in the morning. Okay, next morning here after the sweet and spicy ties have been pulled out of the smokehouse. And they look good. Can you see that? Maybe I'll grab a couple here for you. Focus on the sausages. They got some nice little bit of wrinkle to them. Not too much though. They're not shriveled right up. And so they're not going to be tough, but they're going to be really flavorful. You want just a little bit of a wrinkle. That nice mahogany color has come back. There we go. Look at that. That's kind of exactly what you're shooting for. Nice dark color, little bit of wrinkle. I'm real happy with those. They're going to have loads of flavor. And next step, with these guys that I twisted, if you wanted to twist all your sausages ahead of time, they just about break apart in the joints where you link them. But I find cutting them is a little bit more efficient because we'll do big batches at a time. So you just line them up. I got a crack in my cutting board here, or a division between the boards. And with these guys that were sitting over the top rung, like so, I just cut them right at the joint. And then whatever size length you want, let's say this will be our size marker, you just go along and boom. I just cut 7 pepperonis. And again. And there you go, guys. That's the sweet and spicy Thai snack stick. I'm gonna bring this in so you guys can see a little cross section of it. There you guys go. How's that look? Pretty yummy. You can see the little chili flakes in there. That's gonna be your spicy, and there's all that nice sugar and vinegar and garlic and ginger. This is a real flavorful sausage. We got that evaporation just right. It's nice and dense. Sausage casing snaps, and it's full of flavor. A little something different than your traditional pepperoni. If you want to change it up, you got a little meat at home to play with. I hope you guys make it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And we'll make some more sausage making videos in the future.